Today in my kitchen we are making some sauerkraut. So sauerkraut is actually really simple, so please don't be scared to try it. I'm here to encourage you just to give it a go. So I'm going to show you how I make mine and my simple routine behind it. It is worked out perfectly every single time. So to start with, we are going to sterilize the jars. So I just have 1 liter mason jars, and the ones I use have like a special breathing hole on top, but you don't necessarily need that. But yeah, whatever jar you're using, pop that in, sterilize it. I boil mine on the stove. Just Google sterilizing methods. There's a lot of controversy around the best ways to sterilize something, so just Google it and pick a way that you're comfortable with. Here are our supplies. So we just need a cabbage, salt, a scales and a knife, and we are just going to cut up the cabbage. So before I do that though, I am just going to weigh this bowl. So today we're just going to figure out how much cabbage we have cut. So what this does, it helps us figure out how much salt to add to the cabbage. So the amount of salt that we add helps like the good bacteria grow, and it helps make sure that the bad bacteria doesn't grow. So what we do is we add a 2% salt. But yeah, just weigh the bowl and then just roughly cut the cabbage. You can send it through like a shredder or a robo-coupe or something like that. I just like using a knife. It's super easy to clean up, and like I'm pretty basic in my kitchen. And I actually really like the thickness as well, like a little bit thicker. I actually really enjoy my sauerkraut, but over time you'll figure out what you prefer. So you can use any type of cabbage, a red cabbage, a green cabbage, anything like that. If you can, organic is good. I think it ferments a little bit better. Okay, so now we're going to add our salt. So I'm just weighing it again, and I'm figuring out how much this cabbage now weighs. So how many grams of cabbage do I have in this bowl? I think I had about 900 grams. So I'm just working out what 2% of that is. That's the easiest way to do it, is just, weigh your cabbage and then just add 2% salt. So yeah, here we are, 926 grams of cabbage I have. And then I just worked out 2% of that, which is 18.4 grams. So about 20 grams of salt we're adding to it. And I'm never super precise with it, and it's worked out pretty good, but the 2% rule is a really good rule to go by. With the salt too, you want to use just a good quality sea salt. Try not to do any like iodized or table salts, as they might have like added things in it. So after you've put the salt on the cabbage, now we're just going to massage the cabbage. And this is where I needed a bigger bowl. It's a messy thing, but you just like scrunch it with your hands and just like massage the salt into the cabbage. This will release liquid out of the cabbage. And then with our sterilized jar, we are going to pack the cabbage into our jar. You want to pack it nice and tight. So I get something and I just jam it down. They have special tools for this. I just use the back of a wooden spoon. You don't want any huge air pockets in there. So pack it in nice and tight. For me, I find this 900 grams, like around a kilo of cabbage, fits really good in a 1 liter bottle, 1 liter jar. And as you pack the cabbage in, you'll notice the liquid actually rises up. And you just keep packing it in, because what we want to do is we want to make sure that the cabbage is submerged underneath the liquid. So if you don't have enough liquid, you can let it sit for about 30 minutes. You can press it down a little bit harder, or if it's a really dry cabbage, you can make like a brine up as well if you need to. I've never had to do that though. So just pack it down nice and tight. Yeah, so when ferments go bad is when the oxygen gets to it. So you want it really all submerged in under that liquid. And we're just going to use an old leaf that we pulled off our cabbage before. And we're just going to push it down. So again, this is just a preventative measure just to make sure that all of our cabbage is protected from the air. And if you have it, a weight is really good as well. So you can get these little weights. But you can also just use a Ziploc bag. I know people put like rocks in them, but whatever you do, just try to make sure that all of the cabbage is underneath the brine. Some options I really like is adding some caraway seeds. So to a 1 litre jar about this size, add 1 to 2 teaspoons. But you can find your preference as well. So it's a different variation that I'm trying here. And again, the old cabbage leaf goes on top and then the weight pushes down as well. Just making sure everything is underneath that brine. Lid goes on. So if you don't have these lids that have the little air holes in it, you can just loosely put the lid on top. Okay, so I'm just going to go through a few questions now. Hopefully this helps. How long does it take to ferment? Yeah, so when you've done this, you want to leave it on the bench for 1 to 4 weeks. It depends how sour you like it, and it also depends on the heat of your room as well. So I do a week. I like a week, but yeah, find what you like. How do I know when it's ready? I think you can taste it. Just see how sour it is and if it's up to your preference or not. That's the only way you know. How do I store sauerkraut? Yeah, so after it's finished fermenting, you want to put it in the fridge. So I just take these breathable lids off and put a regular standard lid off and then just move it into the fridge. How can I use sauerkraut? I literally use it on everything, like roast meats. I put a side of sauerkraut, I put it on my pizzas. But yeah, here it says sandwiches, salads as a side dish or blended into dips. Yeah, but I use it on most meals. And the reason, like why we eat sauerkraut, because it's really good for us. It's a really probiotic rich superfood. It supports gut health, it boosts immunity, and it's really delicious. That sour flavor is really delicious and it adds an incredible element to meals. So how do I know if my sauerkraut has gone bad? This question petrified me when I first started doing sauerkraut. I was so scared that it was gone bad. But smell it. If it smells bad, it probably is bad. If it smells like a pleasant and a little bit sour, it should be good. And keep an eye on mold. Any black mold or green mold, it's gone bad and don't eat it. But smell it. You'll get a good idea for it. But give it a go, guys. Don't be scared of it. Just give it a go. You totally have this. Good luck.